sorry about that, Facebook. Yeah, so I don't know what happened on YouTube, but it just kind of threw a bit of a curveball at me. Anyway, I'm just setting up. I have started on the painting, as you can see. Let me move it a bit closer. Ta-da! Maybe that's a bit too close. Turn on the light. Excuse me. Not that. I don't know what's today. Yeah, can we see this? All right, so today I am painting this lovely portrait of Michelle Pfeiffer, funky portrait styles. So I don't know if you guys have seen my pop portraits. Oh wow, this is like fully lopsided on YouTube. It's the same camera though, like I just don't understand the difference. Same camera on Facebook and YouTube, so whatever, frustrating. Sorry guys, I will start painting soon. Okay, never mind. Yeah, so why don't I do a little bit of show and tell before I get started? So this was a little project I did during last year's lockdown, where I painted a really colorful background and then I painted a face on it. So I've got like a series of 90s models that I've painted, and the one I just showed you yeah, maybe I'll show you the rest when I finish, but anyway, that's Naomi. And if you recognize, yeah, so I guess my technique with this is there's no real technique. I just kind of, oops, I have accidentally kicked the tripod. Is that I would paint the portrait based on the colors of the background and just kind of let it unfold. And I just had this canvas sitting around and it wasn't really, I don't know, it wasn't really inspiring anything. So I decided to paint over it. And so this is what I'm going to do. I just love her 70s look. Hey, it's so cool. Her hair and everything. And yeah, I started painting already because I like to block in the basics. And I'm like a broken record, but I like to be like up close when I paint, you know, the foundational stuff so that I can get some accuracy. I've already made quote unquote mistakes with just where her eyes are. So I've kind of just like, you know, changed my mind about where they should be. So I'm kind of like painting, yeah, I'm just like plotting where I reckon they should be. So anyway, and yeah, I think it's really, really important to get the foundations down because this is not going to be a layered painting. I kind of want to get it right ASAP, if that makes any sense. And I want to like retain as much of the background colors as possible. So yeah, that's what I'm going for. At the moment, I'm only using like translucent, watery white paint to block in the basics, and then we'll add and see how I go. I got some blue and purple paint out just in case, you know, I start painting like the shadow of the eyes or something. Move my chair a bit. So, did anybody tune into my live last night? Because I did something quite different. I joined a live drawing session at the Gladdy Drawing Club. If you guys haven't heard of that, it's the Lord Gladstone, which is a pub in Redfern, and they are very supportive of the arts, and they used to run these events called Sunday Walls, where muralists from all over the country and Sydney would basically just get on some ladders and paint on the back walls of the pub. And it launched, I believe it launched the careers of some very high profile muralists. You may have heard of Scotty Marsh and Matt Adnate, Finton McGee, who else? Yeah, anyway, some really big names, and they still have some long-standing murals there, like permanent wall art. And yeah, man, they are amazingly talented artists. And yeah, I used to go, not every week, but I used to go with a friend of mine who is very much in tune with the street art scene. She runs the Sydney Creative Network. Her name is Corinne. Shout out to Corinne. But yeah, we used to just go to these like really cool art shows and events around Sydney back in the day. And that's how I got to know about the Lord Gladstone. They're very supportive of the arts. And that's what I love to see. They've got a very strong community of artists. And it's legit just a regular pub, which is so cool. So anyway, this guy named Bly decided to start these life drawing classes at the pub. Was it this year? I don't know. Anyway, it wasn't that long ago. And I'd kind of been following it and I'd been meaning to go, but he would get these really amazing artists. Some are quite big names, like in the fine art world too, not just street art. And they would host these live drawing sessions. Like I thought, wow, this is a real community of artists, because I'm really careful where I go for life drawing, because let's be honest, some people just want to look at naked girls, and that is what some life drawing classes are for. And you can kind of feel the vibe. You can tell that they're not real artists. Yeah, but anyway. So yeah, I've been following them for a while, and of course, lockdown happened, and the whole thing went online, and I was so impressed with the setup. I learned a lot. I didn't know that you could live stream on Vimeo, but that's what Bly uses, Vimeo, and yeah, the quality is so good. I mean, given that you've got a good connection. But yeah, I was just so impressed, because not only was it fun, and they had like a professional live model, but it was also really educational. They had Michael Sims host or co-host the event and kind of share some of his work and knowledge, and the models' poses were based on his paintings and his inspiration from Renaissance artists. So it's like proper, so inspirational. And I'm going to be joining again, especially if, they're going to keep featuring some really amazing, fine artists. So yeah, that's what I did yesterday. I thought I'd do something different, and just out of respect for the drawing club, I didn't record the live. And I did, of course, like I didn't show any of the screen except for a screenshot of Bly at the end. Because it's full frontal nudity when it comes to a life drawing model. And yeah, I'm just like really super impressed the way they've contained everything, and everyone is a bit, I guess, what Bly says, they're a bit loose, um, and just really relaxed, but not in an unprofessional way, if you know what I mean. They're there for the art. Banter is good, and yeah, it was just nice to be around like real creatives and real artists, like doing something really fun and challenging. I haven't done life drawing in so long. It really it killed me. Those 5-minute sketches were absolutely, gosh, I just feel like you had no time to even, you know, figure out what's in front of you. And you had to, yeah, that's one thing about life drawing. It just keeps you really honest, and it keeps you on your toes. And when I did a short course on life drawing when I was young, when I was in high school, I did like a 2-week intensive course at National Art School. It was very academic. Um, yeah, the models used to do 30-second poses, 1-minute poses, and you would end up with nothing but scribble. So, and the whole purpose of it is to really, test your observation skills and to, what did the artist say? Draw the figure from the inside out and really capture the energy, and worry about the structure later. And that's kind of the approach I take to, my drawings. It's really all about energy, and then you build on the structure. And I think that's what art is about. So that was my little fun last night, and it was just so nice to focus on a creative challenge after a really, really busy week. Um, yeah, it was a bit of a rough week, but that's okay. We get through it. A bit low on energy, but hey, that's what the weekend is for. It's for recovering. I don't know if I'd be up for doing any kind of detail at this angle, but anyway, I'll just do some little washes. It's not as watery as I've hoped. Get people inquiring about whether or not I run workshops, and the answer to that is no. However, I'm going to I'm going to run a little tiny workshop for 3 teenage girls on the weekend because I think it will be a good experience, and I'm just going to test it out and see how I go. I have run workshops before in the past, and I don't enjoy it as much as painting because I feel like I don't have the right credibility to be teaching others yet. Maybe at, for like a very, very beginner level. But at the end of the day, I still have to develop my own. I have to be the student for a long time before I could even call myself a teacher. And it's also it's not the way I want to make money. I want to make money through client work. selling my work, doing commercial art, not so much through teaching. I think you'd have to be really passionate about teaching to do it. Um, and maybe I'll do that one day, when I want to kind of pay it forward. When it's time for me to pay it forward, I'll do it, but I don't think it's time yet. So um, in the meantime, I'm open to helping a few out. Every now and then I can run a beginner's workshop, but it's not something I'm going to sell. It's not the same as paint and sip because no one's really serious about learning techniques in paint and sip, and that's actually how I want to introduce people to art. You should just have fun and not take yourself so seriously. Like, there's one thing I've learned, it's that people beat themselves up, are so hard on themselves when it comes to drawing and painting, and I just wonder, where does this come from? Does it come from teacher criticism? Did someone traumatize them when they were young and told them they couldn't do it? I mean, I understand, like, I know how it feels to be limited, but this is one area where I felt no limits when I was a child. I kind of just did whatever I want. Um, and so my drawing improved and got better, and I just had no doubt that I would get better because the only way to get better is to do it more. There's no magical degree or certificate that will make you into an artist. You have to put the work in. And you can't put the work in if you're not having fun. I think fun is a really important ingredient to improving as an artist. I think we get like the gist of her. Yeah. This will be a really fun project for me on the weekend. I mean, there's lots of things I should be doing, like my taxes, which I've been putting off. My accountant is really scary. I'm sure he's very good at his job, but he absolutely freaks me out with his detail. And, I need all the help I can get, so that's why I've hired him. But I have put off listing all of my past expenses and stuff because it's such a pain. But anyway. looking a bit scary, but the basics are there. All right, guys, thank you for joining me, but I'm going to wrap this up, and thank you for listening to my little rant. And I hope everyone has a great weekend, and I will see you next week.